Welcome to the developer commentary for Into Sandy Cities, my Sandy Peterson-inspired megawatt. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, because, believe it or not, I have a lot of things to say. And you will believe it when the game starts soon. So, this is map 1, Arrival, and if you've watched my Doom 2 explain video where I theorized about what the maps could represent, you might remember that I did theorize that the first level could be a train station. So that's exactly what I did. The level is very obviously inspired by Doom 2. I mean, this like starting section with the pillars and, you know, the stairs leading into it, it's very obvious. You even get the chainsaw because of course. And off to the side here, for instance, there would be some sort of like waiting area with like some TVs. Again, very much inspired by my video. So this one is less of an original Sandy Peterson idea. It's more something that I came up with. And on the other hand, I feel like Sandy Peterson, I've said that in many of my videos, he always had some sort of idea for his levels. They all look nonsensical, but there is a logic behind them, and that logic might not be obvious to everyone. In this one, I feel like I was able to make it a bit more obvious. Sorry, a bit more obvious. Like how this looks like train tracks, for instance, you know, like with the two platforms on each side, and you can go in the tunnel, and there's a secret, yeah. So on some level, I feel like I've succeeded at emulating Sandy Peterson's style, which is more abstract. On the other hand, some of the levels are a bit more just, hey, remember that video I did? I kind of wanted to actually do that. Which is fine. I still think it fits well, and this level works for what it does, but it is one of the weaker ones, and I would honestly like to redo it. And here's another level that is more inspired by my video, which is Underground, the Underhose replacement, which is just, it's just a subway system. I said in my Doom 2 Explain video that, sorry, not Arrival, that entryway could lead into Underhose because it's a subway, it's directly connected to a train station. And that's what I did here. Like, this is a platform, there's like some zombie man here waiting for the train that will never come. It's like the flooded underground section. Again, not a bad level, but these are some of the later maps where the idea was more to basically do an alternate universe take on Doom 2 rather than really coming up with unique maps. I mean, not that this isn't unique, it is pretty unique, it's just that it heavily leans on my video and the idea of Doom 2, but alternate universe in general. So some of the secrets, I feel like that one's very much like the pit in Doom 2, with the like lowering walls. It has its moments, but again, this is one of the weaker maps. However, I do like some certain sections, like the upcoming ambush. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Yeah, this one, for instance, it just looks cool. It's another gimmick which Sandy Peterson was fond of. This is kind of like the chasm where they do that, where it just goes dark and then enemies spawn in. But yeah, here's the next platform. I gotta say also, I'm not a fan of the level design. I feel like at some points it is accurate, in other points it feels more like haphazard. If you had shown me this, I honestly don't think I would have said this looks like Sandy Peterson, which is kind of sad because these are the starting levels and they don't really give the best impression right away. Here's the two doors from the Stanley Parable. No, this is kind of like, I interpret this as like restrooms. I have like the women's restroom on the left, which is obviously full of pinkies. And then you have the imps on the right in the men's bathroom. So it's the two genders. Which one are you? Are you Spectre or are you Imp? And then up here is like the control center for the trains. Do subways even have a control center? I don't think they do. It could be just a maintenance section. That's what the pipes are representing. But I guess not even I know. So in some ways it is successful at emulating the more abstract nature of Sandy's levels. But in other ways, I feel less so. Now I have to say right away that while I still do really like Sandy Peterson's maps, I think they're some of the most interesting ones in both Doom and Doom 2. I also have to say that I don't care for the guy at all anymore. He's made some really transphobic comments and some pretty racist ones, in fact. So I don't care about him. I care about his levels, not the guy. Whatever he does, I don't care. He can do whatever, and I'm not gonna celebrate him. Only his levels. Oh, there's missing texture, which was not intentional, by the way. That was just like something I noticed and was like, oh no, Sandy would have like forgotten about that. And people have pointed out that the way I talk about this project, where I go like, oh, warts and all, like even with all the mistakes and all, I mean that lovingly. I said I don't like the guy, but I don't mean it like as a as an insult to him. Like when I made this, I was still a big fan of him before I really learned what a person he is. But also look at this section. I'm gonna talk about this later, but remember this bridge section. Anyway, when I made this, I was still a big Sandy Peterson fan, and the way I see it, this is like emulating a certain artist's style. Like you're trying to like paint your own Mona Lisa. So you like get all the colors that would have been available at the time, and you recreate the same circumstances if possible. And you just try to do as good of a job as you can at copying that. And that's what I did. So when there's like errors in there and I point those errors out, I don't mean that as in like, oh my god, what an awful game design. I mean, I've made several videos on the guy and his work rather, that it should be obvious that I don't think he's doing an awful job at what he does. But it is more of an homage to his work. I just want people to misunderstand me. I feel like I have a hate boner for the guy. Anyway, onto this map. This is Fort. This is Team Fortress. Yeah, this goes from a red base, quote unquote, a brown base rather, infested with demons, or like controlled by the demons, to a blue or green base filled with zombies. So it's kind of this like zombies versus humans. You can also see the Fort bridge there is full of just demon corpses on one side, on the human side, and human corpses on the other side, because the implication is that they've already been fighting. And the idea is that you go through this map essentially taking your intelligence to their intelligence room, which is what the keys represent. And if you actually take the blue intelligence, which is the blue key, you can go back all the way to the start and get a cool secret. That's like the intro room. Like if you've played Fort before, you will recognize a lot of things here and there. Like not the secret, but like the battlements. Here's the bridge. He's like the way up. I feel like in some ways it's also been inspired by Fortress.wad, which was the Doom map that inspired Fort. But yeah, that's like kind of like your intel room here. Like you won the game, quote unquote, and got a free rocket launcher out of it. Again, it's another gimmick map that is inspired by something that is not necessarily Sandy Peterson inspired, but I feel like the fact that it is gimmick inspired is enough. And this is a reference that will become immediately obvious to anyone who is familiar with me and my channel in let's say like less than 20 seconds. If for those that already know, this is pretty obvious. I mean, yes, it is the focus, but yeah, this is the Stanley Parable. Here's the two doors. It's Stanley's office. I love the Stanley Parable. It is one of my favorite walking sims. Maybe not the favorite anymore. That's been overtaken by Edith Finch, but I still love it to death, and I will always reference it at least once in any game. So. This is another instance of that. Like here's the warehouse if you go through the right door, for instance, and on the left door you get to the boss's office. You can even backtrack here if you're smart about it. And I feel like this is more of an American McGee style map. Like there's a was it American McGee who made that map? Or was it the other one? I forgot. It is a bit less like Sandy, except for, I guess maybe this part. But I feel like Sandy wasn't just about like nonsensical abstract maps for the sake of it. He also really focused on the gimmicks. And this map's gimmick is multiple paths. You can just go wherever you want and explore right away. I mean, that's all maps, really, of course. But I feel like the way it loops around is it makes it like, yeah, there for instance, like you go back to the side, almost like you got an ending there. I don't know if that's what I meant by that, but I guess you can interpret it like that. I just like the reference. I wanted to do an office, which we hadn't done. We hadn't seen in the Stanley Parable. No, we haven't seen any offices in the Stanley Parable. Famously devoid of any sort of offices. Oh yeah, that's the boss's office, by the way, and that's the boss just hanging there. So, hashtag socialism. And this part is actually interesting because I once made a map called the Stanley Parable. It is a Stanley Parable parody set in the Doom universe. And when you turn the big machine on at the end, instead of a bomb going off, like in the Stanley Parable, the ceiling lowers. And that's what I did there. That's just a reference to that. I feel it's neat. That's another neat quirk gimmick that I feel works well. And you exit through the escape pod ending. The ending that was famously didn't work in the Stanley Parable because the radar wasn't present. But it's just a neat reference, that map. Waste processing. Oh, this one's really interesting. This one was originally part of the chasm replacement, which is called the Watergate, I think. It had several names, I keep forgetting them. Yeah, this was part of that map, which is why the water lowering and raising gimmick is present in both maps, because originally it was... I couldn't decide which one of them I wanted sooner or later. So I decided, yeah, I'm just gonna make like a sewer section as a waste tunnels replacement. And that's what this is. Many people have said that this is more like a Tom Hall map, the way it looks. Like even this part, for instance, this is very Tom Hall. Which I wasn't aiming for. Also this part, with this like cubbies at the start, that's very Tom Hall. Actually, if you play this multiplayer, one of each player starts out in those rooms. Anyway, that wasn't my intention to make it a Tom Hall inspired map, but I think it works. I think it works. Sandy did finish up a lot of Tom Hall's maps for Doom 2 and Doom 1, of course. So you could theorize that this is like a leftover from the Doom Bible days, and he just finished it up, made it look a bit nicer, gave it a new setting, theming. Instead of being like a space base, it's like an Earth sewer. So yeah, that also works. That was also part of his portfolio. He didn't just make original maps. And here's another neat gimmick. You have the sewage that raises and lowers, so you have to like run across at the right time. Otherwise, you drop down and you die. And now it's a crusher because they are refining the waste here. Because this is a waste processing plant. But yeah, but between the names and some of the theming, I mean, this is not really inspired by my video this time. You can see a lot of connections to the original maps. Maybe less in this one. Yeah, that was an unpegged texture there. I noticed that immediately wanted to go back. Nope, the recording must go on. Like, oh, this part is very much like the not the factory. No, that's a different map. That's from this mod. Refueling base, for instance. I forgot where I was going with that sentence, to be honest. It's just a neat gimmick. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, I remember. So every map has like some elements of the original map. Like this one is called waste processing. So instead of waste tunnels, so I kind of focused more on the waste part over the actual layout of the map, which I interpreted as more like a living quarter or like even just apartment buildings. But in this case, it is just a waste processing plant. And in the previous map, you had the focus with the raising and lowering windows, which is just so iconic. I couldn't leave that out. Even though that wasn't a Sandy map, and he probably wouldn't have come up with it in the first place. It's too iconic. It is just too iconic. And in the Team Fortress map, which is just imaginatively titled Fortress, you have the enemies infighting each other on the bridge, which is something you can do in that map, in the original map. And I wanted to focus more on that concept of the infighting, therefore Team Fortress. And now we come to the most problematic part of this map. Not this ambush. The ambush is fine. Like this is okay. It's even a pretty generous ambush because it like raises the floor. But the floor raising is the problem, because when I made all these maps, I tested them in GZ Doom, which has no limitations. But I made this with Chocolate Doom in mind, with the original vanilla game. The problem though is that if there's a floor raising mechanic that is connected to too many, was it line devs or vertices? I forgot what it was. The game can crash, and when Bofu tested this map, it kept crashing all the time, and we were like unsure what was causing it, and eventually realized that, oh yeah, there's like too many lines there. So we had to like, I mean, he helped, but we had to like really simplify the courtyard area there, and like make the platforms a bit more simple, because there was just too much going on, which is something I should have accounted for from the beginning, because I did want to make this with vanilla in mind. I mean, this is supposed to be as accurate to the original as possible. You don't need that anymore. You can get it from the start. That's a useless power-up. I should have tested it from the start with like Chocolate Doom, but setting that up is such a hassle, so I didn't. Oh, here's another one from my videos, the panopticon. If you've watched that video, you will 100% recognize it. A panopticon is a type of mental torture in a prison, where you have a big tower in the middle, surrounded by cells on the walls, and the people in the cells on the walls don't know when or if someone in the tower is watching them. So they always feel watched because they just have no way of knowing. It is pure torture, it's awful. It represents the worst aspects of humanity. And of course I had to put it in here because I think the concept is just so cool. And it does fit that the demons will take over this place, because they go like, oh yeah, this is awful, we love this. This place on the left is gonna become obvious what it does in a bit. But first of all, we need to actually get to the panopticon, which is here. And there's a big cyber demon. Yeah, because the original map, the Crusher, had a big spider mastermind. But I was like, you know, I can like one up this. What if there's like a cyber demon, and this time instead of crushing it, you have to actually lure it into the what I call the electric chair, which is what the flashing lights are. Again, from my video. You might also notice, if you've played the WOD, that the panopticon looks a lot different. Again, that's because this is from an earlier version, where it turns out that if you use these switch textures as transparent line devs, it can actually crash the game. So I had to change them, because there's, like in the original Doom, there's like only certain textures that can act as like walls you don't actually put on walls. Like, yeah, that's the electric chair, and yeah, you just take it down, put it to death. Cyber demon. Don't worry, this is not Cybe. It's completely unrelated cyber demon. There are several cyber demons. Cybe lives a long and happy life in heaven. But yeah, there's only some textures that can be used, like these railings, for instance, or these grates. And turns out that the switches were not part of that, and that just crashed the game every time you like enter this room, which kind of sucked. So I had to change it. I do like the final version more, even though the faces fit the theming more, where like you don't know if you're being watched because there's just faces everywhere. That's a neat secret that everyone struggles with on their first time. I don't even think you have to strafe jump, because I don't like strafe jumps. I think it's a bad mechanic, and that should be required of the player, because it's like it should be able to help the player if they want to. Like, you should be able to like get around stuff with it if you want to, but it shouldn't be like a requirement to get to places. I don't like that. It's like crouch jumping in Half-Life. It's dumb and it's stupid, and Valve insisted on making it an official feature, even though it doesn't work. And here's like the changing rooms. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to mention, this entire place is not just panopticon, it is a prison. We just had the cells on the walls with the panopticon in the middle. At the beginning was the like entrance. You even had to go into the security office and open the bars, because, well, security. Here's like the showers, and we just entered the changing rooms. And he could be like, I don't know, like the maintenance section or something. I don't know. Use your imagination, yeah. And you wouldn't be able to cross this easily. Yeah, exactly. I did turn on infinitely tall monsters for this, yeah. This is more like the Romero map with the tenements. I forgot what it was called. What was the map called with the tenements? I forgot. Anyway, yeah, that one. But I feel like Sandy's also done that here and there, or at least has made finished up Tom Horse's maps where it was done like that. And if you've noticed, you can't look inside the panopticon, but you can look outside, which is the gimmick. And now we go to the solitary confinement area, where suddenly all the worst prisoners are let loose. Judging by some of the corpses here, like some of the human corpses, you could interpret this as the Marines managing to trap some of the demons, before dying, unfortunately. But now you have to break them out to actually get to places and kill them proper, because you can do that. Also, that's supposed to be like the security system, not like the ceiling lights falling down, but I guess you can interpret it however you want. The panopticon also serves as the sort of like control center, where you have to like activate all the doors and like open up areas. I think that's a cool idea. I feel like Sandy would have done something like that, even though the concept of panopticon is more something you'd see in Quake than in Doom, but I feel it still works here. Maybe one day when I learn how to make Quake maps, I'm gonna make some Sandy Peterson style Quake maps. But again, I don't care for the guy anymore, and I kind of want to distance myself from him and his work in general, even though I still do like it. But you're not gonna see me making videos on him anymore. So a quick puzzle, you have to be fast there. And here's like the courtyard. He's like where they train with like the guard towers in the corners, like watch over the prisoners. Oh my god, that elevator texture. Yeah, that was fixed eventually. Oh, that looks so awful on the record. Oh, don't look at it. Oh, don't look there. Oh, stop looking at it. Go. Yeah, no. Just, yeah, thank you. And here the implication is not that the courtyard is normally filled with lava, it's just that during the invasion, they wrecked this place and everything sank below into like the sewage. You can even like add on to this if you press a switch in the sewage, which I didn't want to do here for some reason. Please, no? Okay. I might have forgotten about it actually. Square off. Ooh, yeah. This is, there's a lot of things to be said here. So this is the Dead Simple replacement, which went through many iterations. It was originally meant to be on a rooftop, but every version I came up with looked way too much like just Dead Simple. So I decided to go Scorched Earth and restructure everything and base it more around the beta version, which was actually made by Sandy Peterson, from what I know. Also first instance of the shoot switch. The beta version looked pretty much exactly like this. You had these like flesh pods, you had a lot of wood everywhere. It was surrounded by blood and these green walls. I have no idea what it represents. It looks awesome. I love this visually way more than the original because it just looks so wild. And it does function really well. You might also have read the text. I forgot exactly what it says, but it says it's basically more like Doom 2, where it's like like the humans have been taken capture and you need to like free them or whatever, which will be relevant later, not now. Anyway, this map. I know this is my own map and I'm tooting my own horn, but I like this more than Dead Simple. I feel like the fact that you can go everywhere from the start, and it's a lot more open, and there's still cover, but it's not like the person who is on the very outside is completely safe. Like, no, you can see everyone at all times if you stand in the right place. I like that. And I also like that the Erectatrons come first rather than the other way around. And I like that there's like little cubbies with like even more monsters. It's just cool. Then again, this map was also a pain to just bug fix and just make in general, because it's still so prone to bugging. Like at the very end, the stairs can raise too much to the final platform, which can happen in the original. But so I added like elevators, but because of the elevators, sometimes the mancubi cannot spawn in because they can't cross over a line depth until you activate the elevators. Yeah, if you ever get stuck here and you don't know like why there's like why the map hasn't ended yet, the mancubi are trying to get out, and you need to like activate just the final platform to like get them to come over here. There was a version in between where there weren't stairs leading up to these platforms, but lifts. I think same as the final platform. The final version is closer to this. Or it isn't. I actually don't know if it's been changed so often. So I don't know. Oh, I forgot a secret. And I don't know. It was a pain. Also nice like sound tunnel there. Yep. Yeah, that's all the secrets. I don't really care. This is not meant to be like a long play, like a 100% playthrough. But I still wanted to show as much as possible. Twists and turns. Ah, yes, the obligatory tricks and traps replacement. Very on the nose here. And here I just wanted to put some gimmicks in. And that's one of my favorites from the start. Yeah, you have to go through this like ruined area, like a battle has taken place here. There's demons everywhere, there's blood. The walls have opened up. There's even more corpses here. Like, oh, there's like a secret room that's been opened. That's weird. That's odd. Someone's been here already, and you step through this. And oh wait, everything's normal. It's like a different part. Hold on, that's weird. Oh, there's enemies here now, and then it finally dawns on you. You just went through the modern version of this place, and now you're going back to the past. And you're like, you're killing the demons that were already killed by you. So there's time travel involved. Like, yeah, look at this. This map is like, it's like unbusted. There's like, there's no blood or anything. The pipes are still fine. The walls haven't opened up yet, which is a nice hint towards what will happen in a bit. Like the game doesn't state or like outright tell you what's going to happen, but you can infer it from like context clues. It's a little bit of puzzle, like environmental puzzle. Oh, and actually, if you inspect this map in the editor, there actually are lost soul corpses. That lost souls do have a corpse, they just don't show up because they don't have a sprite. Because I was like, if someone plays this with like, I don't know, like Doom Delta or something, then it would feel weird if there's just no lost soul corpses, because they do appear. All the enemies, or all the corpses rather, are the exact same amount of enemies. Like if there's like 15 imps, there's 15 imp corpses. If you play on Hurt Me Plenty or something and there's only like 12 imps, there's only 12 imp corpses. And then I'm Too Young to Die, there's only like 8, then there's only 8 imp corpses. I put so much effort into this. There's another gimmick that is just why not? The doors open, there's more enemies. It's just neat ideas I had. Which is basically what Tricks and Traps was as well. Like, not all of them are great, but then again, not all Tricks and Traps parts are great. It's just like cool things you can do. People really like these maps, and I do have to say they are a lot of fun to make. I'm gonna be honest though, I hate replaying these maps. They're just like I don't like replaying Tricks and Traps. It's like there's like 2 parts that I actually enjoy, the rest are just like gimmicks that are dumb. Also, this is Nuts.ward. Because you had the Cyber Demon in the original, and this time it's Nuts.ward with the same textures and like gimmick. Which is cool. But yeah, I don't like playing these maps because they're not real maps, they're more like secret levels. And they work as secret levels because you can just ignore them. Or like go into them with a like different attitude, but if you want to make them, like if you have to play through them like with Doom 2, which is already a game that is basically oops all secret levels, then yeah. Also, this is this is Mario 64. The final battle with Bowser is, yeah, you're on this like platform, this round platform in the sky, and Bowser stomps around, and every time he does, he breaks off a part of the platform, and in the end, it's like a star. That's what I did there. That's just Mario 64, which is a neat gimmick. I feel like that works well. Yeah, it's hard to like keep track of where you are. I feel like that's the case in the original. Like, no matter how many times I've played it, I always go through the wrong door at least once. At least there's like torches here. Ooh, oh my god, this one. Okay, this is a cool gimmick. It's like, oh, it's like too cramped. I can't go anywhere. Oh my god, yeah, I got shrunken down. This is a gimmick for a map I've had ever since I played, what's it called, Void? That one ward, there's a single portion in that ward where you shrink down and you basically do this, but it's about as long as well. And I thought that concept was so cool. I always wanted to put it in a ward, and this is the first time I could, and I'm so happy about it. And I think it works so well. It's just so small. It's such a small gimmick, but I love the idea of just like turning into like a Pikmin and having to like navigate a big small world. I love that concept so much in games. And look, if you look at the platform, there's even like what looks like a blue skull, because that's where we're trying to get. And now that you've opened up the passage, you can actually go back. Like, yeah, no, you forgot about the skull key, you idiot. Okay. Okay, you get it? Yeah? Thank you? Yeah. And if you go through it, look at that, the skull is gone. Ah, that's so cool. It's such a small detail I didn't have to add, but I wanted to. Yeah, which one haven't you gone through, huh? Oh, yeah, the Pac-Man maze. Again, that's one of my first ever Doom boards was a Pac-Man map, because no matter which editing software I use, I always make Pac-Man. Pac-Man or Mario, that's like the two things I always make. Or Team Fortress. But, yeah, this idea was one of the oldest ones I had. Not this exact idea, but with the pinkies and you collect the bonuses. That is one of the oldest concepts. And I do like the gimmick that you have to like hurry and get the potions so you don't lose enough health and die. And then I throw a curveball, and just like when you press the button, then all the walls lower. And it's cool. And you might notice there's another blue skull, because you don't need to do all the gimmicks like in the original. So you can just pick and choose your favorites, which would make this more bearable if I had played this in like a casual playthrough. I would just like go through like, I don't know, like Nutsod Ward or something. Ooh, and here's a cool one. The stealth section. I'm still astonished that this doesn't outright crash Chocolate Doom because there's so many monsters, but no. Like, yeah, oh, there's a switch there, there's a key there, but you can get to it. So what you have to do is, you have to lower the doors. Now you can sneak past. Hee. Yeah, look at that. Because if like one of them sees you, you're just screwed. And now all the walls lower. And I specifically added the secret because the Barons can and will throw fireballs at you if you're not fast enough. But now you can just crush them and be on your merry way. And if you're fast, you can even get the BFG, which is also found in Tricks and Traps. I did play with a lot of unpack texture. I did play a lot of with a lot of people's expectations, because they expect the BFG to be here. And they expect the Tricks and Traps level, and they expect a, that symbol level. I know, like, oh, the wall melts upwards again, like my video. It's also a neat reference to the original, because in the original, the ending is like famously like getting over the toxic waste on the platforms that lower sucks. So here I made it easier, and the player goes like, oh yeah, that was like way easier. And then they get to the end, which is supposed to be the exit switch. It's like, oh no, there's like enemies, and then they get pushed back into the goo. But yeah, I played with people's expectations a bit. Actually, the idea of this being an alternate universe Doom came much later. Originally, it was just supposed to be like a bunch of Sandy Peterson-inspired maps. But as I ran out of ideas for maps, I just essentially remade ones for Doom 2. The idea was always that I made maps that are pretty much similar to the original. Like with similar enemy amounts and difficulty, and like even some gimmicks and visuals. But in the end, I was just like, oh yeah, here's my replacement for the pit. And again, like my video, it's a lift. Because this is like an an office building. which I said in the video. It's like you have the big lift in the middle, or what used to be a lift, but it's now crashed down. And I was like, what if the lift was like the actual main gimmick, and you go into the basement or like the parking garage, but because it's so busted, as seen by the walls, the ceiling caves in. Yeah, this is cool. Sorry, sometimes I don't have anything to say. I just really like this stuff. Oh, like the really mean crusher is highlighted by the skulls, so you know it's very bad. It has a different texture, because that will just like outright kill you. Secret area, yep. I feel like this is where the Sandy Peterson inspired maps really pick up. Like the first few are kinda there, but like with maps 7, 6 and 7, that's where it like really picks up. That's where you see a lot of similarities, and where the player can go, the other viewer in this case, can really go, oh yeah, this is Sandy. I recognize this. You go next level. I feel like I could have done more with the lift gimmick. I feel like that there's not much going on here, but I did other gimmicks here. I've always considered the pit to be basically an extension of Tricks and Traps, where Sandy put some gimmicks that didn't fit into the original, and I could just put more of them in there with like different contexts. Immediately they failed at that. And this is what I did here as well. It's just more gimmicks. Like in this case, you have to run across these platforms as they're lowering, and if you don't do it fast enough, you fall down like I just did. Okay, now do it properly. I wonder if this is on Chocolate Doom. This is gotta be hell. Yeah, secret. Yeah, and here's like the like broken rooms from the pit, very on the nose. Here's a puzzle that will be familiar to you if you've played Ascension Denied, because this is something I have been wanting to do for a long time. The gimmick is that you have to raise and lower these platforms to run across, but you have to like raise and lower them in certain amounts, so they're like all at the right height. Originally, it was supposed to be like depending on the platform next to them, like they will only raise to the next adjacent platform height or lower to the next adjacent platform height. So you have to like make sure that the one is like not too high up, so the next one can lower to or like raise to that height, and then you have to move the other one down so the next one can lower and such. The problem is that there is raise to next higher floor, but there's no lower to next lower floor. So I had to like redo this. Not a fan of this one, but I used it in Ascension Denied, and it works fine there, but I gotta say, it is not as fun as I thought it was originally. So you have what you need. Oh no, wait, do you have what you need? Oh, you don't have what you need, actually. That was a soul sphere. I thought it was the key. No, now you get the key. And yeah, here's like the falling platforms, which is, again, from the pit, basically. Though in this case, it is like many of my interpretations, the floor is collapsing and you have to run across. It's just a cool gimmick. One thing I'm not a fan of is enemy mounts in my levels. I feel like a lot of them feel haphazard. Like this, for instance, it feels random, and that's because it is. Originally, I had way too few enemies in my maps. Because I've said before that the way I like to structure my levels is having few strong encounters rather than just spamming enemies. Unfortunately, that was my safe stuff. Oh no, I hope that wasn't like anything bad there. Unfortunately, Sandy likes to do the opposite and just spam enemies essentially. Also, nice gimmick, like you get the BFG and you expect like, oh, the walls are gonna lower. No, you get raised actually. So that's a nice twist in the original. And yeah, at least you get to immediately kill all of them. But yeah, I had way too few enemies across all the maps, so I had to like add a bunch, and since the levels weren't designed around it, a lot of them are just very random, and I wish I could just read like this. These ones. This didn't have shotgunners here originally. It just had the Mancubi. And I think if you press the button, if you would please press the button, yeah. I think I even added more Cacodemons here. There were like 5 or so originally, like 4. So I had to just add more enemies everywhere. I think it works, but it's not as egregious in this map. It's worse in some of the later maps. Or maybe not, unless you pay attention. But I could have done more. Also, these are the rooftops, because you went to the very top floor, and now you're like at the roof of the building. Yeah, you might also notice there's no, like, lower quickly. There's just lower in general. And this will go to the very bottom. And yo, look, it's another pentagram. Yay. Shapes. It's random shapes, like Sandy did. Yay. Again, no, like, insult towards him. Even though I wish I could. But I won't. The warehouse. Warehouse? Their house? Sorry. Yeah, refueling base. I interpreted the original as, well, a refueling base and had a lot of, like, ideas for, like, where buildings, not buildings, vehicles could move. And all that, and what certain stages of parts of the map represent. So I completely focused on that here. And again, this is more of a Tom Hall style map in the way that it is structured. It's not quite. It's not like following the like scheme of having a shape that the level is contained in. Like, oh, here's like the cube, and the entire level only takes place in this cube. There's no like other shape or something. It doesn't have that, but it certainly has that Tom Hall feel, which is what the original was going for. And lately I have played around a bit with making Tom Hall style maps, and it is a lot of fun. It is genuinely fun to make kind of like realistic looking maps that seem like they have a purpose while still adhering to the like Doom limitations. Which is unfortunately what a lot of Doom maps are, so it's never been that interesting to me. But I feel like Tom Hall still has his own style. Also, you might have noticed the door to that room was a fast door, and something I figured out. I religiously studied all the maps to figure out exactly which textures Sandy used, which types of like line def actions he used, and the way like rooms look and where enemies would be placed, what enemies would be placed, and like what items are being used. Something he never used, or like only used I think twice in all of his levels, is the fast door. Every door is always, even the smallest doors are always just the regular doors. And that's not just exclusive to him, but it applies to pretty much everyone. Still, I wanted it to be accurate, so I had to go through every single map and change all the fast doors to regular doors. I think there's like 1 or 2 exceptions, which is fine. But yeah, I wanted it to be accurate. Even if you look at the underside of doors, the textures are also very consistent, because he always had this like silver checkerboard pattern there, that one, for the tech wall doors, tech-based doors, and for wooden doors he had this like brown earthy looking texture. I really made sure to make this really accurate. This is something that I criticized the Doom 2 the way it did map packs, which it's all for fun. No harm. I love the idea that they did them in the first place, but they're just not that accurate because the texture usage is sometimes very random and based more on what has been done since, or what the map makers like to do in their own maps, like the original maps, that are not based on anything. But I wanted to be as accurate as possible, so I really made sure that everything looked the way it's supposed to, in quotes. You know, nothing's supposed to be anything here, but I just wanted this to be like, turn the light on. I just wanted this to like actually look like a Sandy Peterson style level, and I feel like I've succeeded here, even though this is more of a Tom Hall style level. Now these are kind of like the offices, so though I guess they could also be like storage units. Again, very much inspired by my video interpretations. Oh, sorry, interpretations in my video. Looking for secrets? Nah, none. Yeah, and here's like the packaging facility, I guess, where if I were so kind as to kill this pain elemental and these lost souls, I could show the rest. Any day now. And yeah, miss every shot. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, please. Thank you. Okay. No! Okay, good. Yeah, he's like the conveyor belt. He's like where they like place all the packages and like, you know, ship them off somewhere. The crushers, maybe they like package stuff, or I don't know, it's just machinery that gets in the way. Yeah, you like all the tunnels and hallways in this map are like wide enough for like forklifts and small trucks to pass through, for instance. Again, very much inspired by my video. And here's like the, you know, the conveyor belt. And if everything's packaged, you can take it here, which is the storage hall. The obligatory crate maze, which is in every single Doom whatever. And especially in Tom Hals's maps. Which is, I guess, why which is like the main reason why you could read this as a Tom Hall map. Because he like really liked those. Actually, did he? He had like one level with them, now that I think about it. I think it's just that everyone else avoided them like the plague. Except for like maybe Sandy and like whoever made Underhalls. Yeah, there's also like way more enemies here. I feel like it works here because there's just so many enemies in refueling bases. It's insane how many enemies there are. Like you open like the big tanks and out come like 50 zombie men and like 20 imps and like 3 pan elementals and like 80 pinkies, and it's just so much. It makes for awesome gameplay. Like it's so much fun to play, but if you want to emulate that, then it's hell. And here's like the crate from hell that they shipped. Like, it's even wooden and it's burnt on the inside. Like they actually shipped it from hell, and just so that I get back up. Which is a hilarious implication. By the way, I hate the music that's placed in this map. I hate the music, and I hate even more that it also plays in Suburbs, which is my favorite map. I don't like it. It's so ugh. I remember that I made a lot of RPG Maker games as a kid, and this was one of the tracks that I had downloaded at some point, or was part of like a game that I just stole it from. It was just called Doom 95. Which is hilarious because I don't think Doom 95 even included Doom 2, so I don't know why it was called that. But yeah, this is just like I guess it's like the earliest Doom song that I know, and I just hate it. It's so dumb. Also another gimmick because I ran out of like ideas here. Just like, oh, why is this like it's like moon crescent moon shape here with a cyber demon? Well, the original had a cyber demon, so I gotta have one. And why a crescent moon? I don't know. Like, interpret it yourself. I ran out of ideas. I'm not gonna say that all my ideas in this one are perfect or anything, but you know, eventually you will run out of ideas. Hey, wait, what did I actually miss? No, like I'm like not feigning ignorance this time. I'm like actually. This is such a big map, even I get. Oh yeah, right, the freaking yeah, the like another storage unit with like smaller boxes, which is what the metal represents. It's like small crates. And I like this. I like this because it's like open on all sides and you have to like really pay attention. Which incidentally is also very much like Doom 1. Like the what was the one called with where the intermission screen music plays? It also has like a funky name like Refueling Base. Anyway, like near the end there's also this section with the pipes and it looks just like this with like the lost souls and the imps, I think. I don't know why I keep putting like an enemy in the final room. I mean, I guess Sandy did it. Nah, I know that is a thing he did. That was in Tricks and Traps. That was in the pit. I think it was in the refueling. No, it wasn't a refueling base. But he did it a bunch. Ah, Into the Face of Evil, which is a reference to a Hotline Miami 2 song, and to the map. Nice misaligned texture there, idiot. What, is this a secret or something? Yes. Yeah, and there's the Face of Evil. This looks so derpy. But again, like, The original map had it as well. They had like this like face at the end, and it looks so silly. I feel like because it looks like just a giant creature, to me it's kind of like an in between of a Baron of Hell and the Icon of Sin, like a smaller variant, which is why you go inside. So they have this place to keep this like creature alive, which is a common theme throughout all of Doom across both games, I feel. And I just like the idea of just having this giant face staring at you, because that is the face of evil, and you must conquer each. Nice save there. Yeah, and like there's like Hell Knights in there that like shoot fireballs at you, which is just cool. And to get inside, you have to actually open the teeth up to enter, which is a neat gimmick. I get to like compliment my own levels. I think I feel like I've deserved that. I am proud. I also criticize a lot of the things I make because I think that's fun. It's not like self-hatred. I think criticizing things is fun, even things I really love. And people take that personally sometimes when you criticize something, or like even something they made, or even something they like. But I think it's just fun. I'm such a harsh critic of the things I love. Oh, there's a missing texture at the top there. But it is always done like lovingly, because I just really enjoy it, and I enjoy dissecting things. I enjoy finding out what makes them tick and what doesn't make them tick, and how they could have been better. And I do that the same for my own things, because I always want to improve. Oh, it's the Archval. Yeah, this one appears in this map. And so far, no one's caught onto the twist of this map. Because, like, of course, this is the Archval map. Like, the Archval has to appear here. Another expectation that I play with. But it's only hinted at here. It's like, oh, where could it be? And people still... to this day still now, well, not to this day, they don't really play this anymore, like at least comment on it anymore, but I've seen so many comments of people that didn't expect the Archwell when it comes out. Oh, I killed it. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, this is also... It's just a very throwaway type room, where it's just like... here's like some mazes. Everyone... The one thing everyone does when they run out of ideas in a Doom, or like in any level, they add mazes. As has been pointed out in the beginner's guide, you just add mazes when you like want to extend the length of your game. And yeah. I mean, then again, Sandy did do this. The Chasm has one. I kind of feel like I went a bit overboard with it here and there. Like this section, it's fine. It's okay. It could have been done a bit better. Some of the floor heights are very inconsistent. Like typically floors, or like, not floor heights, I'm sorry, room heights. Oh, it's another shoot switch, which you could only get past earlier by shooting it. That was the only way to escape. And... here's the Archval, yeah. And anyway, yeah, like rooms are typically only 128 units tall, which I didn't always have. Anyway, yeah, the Archval. The gimmick here was that you have to kill the enemies first, and he can resurrect them. So it teaches... The original Doom 2 teaches you that the Archval has a fire attack, which works extremely well, and it's a lot of fun. This one teaches you more that the Archval can resurrect stuff, which is also fun and works really well. Just, yeah, everyone runs into that. At least it's a fast crasher. That's the teeth, because now you're entering the mouth, or like the head of the demon via the mouth. And obviously the teeth try to like bite you and crush you. I should have probably taken that off. This might have been changed at some point, or had planned to change it and never did. But yeah, look, you can look out of the eyes. Isn't that cool? Very fleshy. I like the spine moving along the wall. That's just cool. I love this concept. I love walking through just corpses of beings, or even living beings. Oh no, now you're in the stomach with the stomach acid, and as you can see, it is just full of humans, which is all kinds of unfortunate. Because as it turns out, which we will soon learn, you've gotten the bad ending, essentially. Like that's a lot of people. It's probably more if you think about it, considering how Doom's like scale works. And as you can read here, you failed. You were too late. Humanity is gone. It's Doom 2. You managed to save humanity and you press the switch and they escape into space. But here, nah, it's late. All of humanity is just gone. Like they've already been killed and you just took too long. It was all for naught. But it's like 100 survivors. Like it's like a small village. You could populate another planet. Yeah, that could work. And I love the implication that you can't save humanity, but maybe humanity can live on somehow. And it's very bittersweet, but it's gonna come later. For now, I think I'm going to stop it here, actually, because I've been talking for an hour, and there is around 3 more hours of footage left. So I'm gonna do the rest later. Good stopping point, actually, because this is where the city levels start, and I have a lot of things to say about those. So I'd like to say thank you for watching thus far. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're looking forward to the next part, which will come out whenever. I don't know. But anyway, I'll see you then. Take care.